Let me make sure. Here, time to edit this video. Get the right thumbnail. Call it Hex. One second, everyone. Got the right thumbnail. Save. Awesome. Let me make sure on my end that we're live. Awesome. Share. I'm going to share this link in a few spots and then we can get started. Throwing it into the hex.com Telegram group. Pulse Chain Telegram group. I'm sure you're in those, right? Nice, nice. And I'm gonna tweet this out. Then we can be good to go. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Good old introduction. Awesome. I think it should be good. Yeah, so let me just pull up my YouTube chat. Make sure, yeah, we have 15 people watching. Awesome. Live, let's go. Hey guys, hey G. No audio on the other, oh, no audio on you. Apparently people can't hear you. Let's make sure we got this right. Desktop audio. I think I know how to fix this. Default.
So yeah, it looks like my mic is working through this.
All right, guys, let me know if you can hear Joe, and once you can,
yes. Can you hear me now? Thumbs up. Yay.
Check.
Thumbs
check.
Down. check.
In the meantime,
yes, no, maybe so.
People are saying,
no?
Don't forget that in Hex we are chewing through a guy selling 200 million at 6 cents before we break out. Okay, they can hear you now. I fixed it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, we have Balliot Brand in the chat saying he's going to wrap up his stream in about 10 or so minutes and bring everyone over here, so we should get a nice little bump soon. Awesome. Nice, man. We're getting a bunch of thumbs up. Yeah, so let's go ahead and introduce. We have Joe Parys here, self-made millionaire. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these points. Self-made millionaire, entrepreneur, trader, more famous than me, 33K subs on YouTube. And we met through this really useful comment on how to actually grow my YouTube. So really thankful for that, man. And yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll go ahead and start by asking a little bit about how you started your journey with entrepreneurship, crypto, just getting to the point where you're at now. I'm sure that's a really fascinating story. We chatted a little bit, just like 10 minutes before the stream started, just to kind of get the format going. But this is really our first time meeting, like virtually. So good to meet you, and take it away.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody being here and just being with us and bearing through those technicals. But,
yeah,
so my entrepreneurship journey started when I was like 22, 23. I read a book called Think and Grow Rich. And when I was younger in college, we didn't even have cell phones, man. Like that wasn't even a thing. And so books, surprisingly or not, was how we got our information. Cell phones existed, but it was nothing like it was. So I was a big reader, it still am. And Think and Grow Rich just really shifted a lot of paradigms for me. And one of them was about money. And I started making money online, and a lot of it pretty quickly. And so I was like, well, I'm never going to be necessarily doing a traditional job, right? Like it just, I don't know, that wasn't really the path that I saw for myself. But when I got out of college, since I did get a degree, I did go to college, I wanted to be a teacher. And so that's what I have my degree in history, psychology, and American government. And so I started teaching high school, and I coached girls basketball, which was a riot. And I played college basketball. So that's kind of where that came from. And I really enjoyed doing it. But to be honest, I was living at home because the pay wasn't very well, and was really just trying to find myself and just figure out what I was really doing. And then I came across a website called udemy.com. And this was, 7 years ago now. And Udemy is the largest online teaching platform in the world right now. There's literally, I think 50 million people that use Udemy. And I was one of the first ones to kind of jump on there and start making courses. And, today I have like 800,000 students on there and, have done very well with Udemy. And I just really enjoy teaching. And I was teaching people so many different skills between video editing, vlogging. I teach people, so many different things. And I just really enjoyed giving back and sharing. And I really enjoyed the passive income. So that allowed me to, be my own boss, earn millions of dollars, which is fantastic. And just kind of live this life of freedom. And that's what I really want to truly help people with is, to be your own boss, do what you want to do when you want to do it, because life is short, man. It's real short. And so that led me into another opportunity, which was cryptocurrency for the first time. I got started with crypto in 2017. Google, you want some funny videos? Type in Joe Parys Steemit, Steemit, on YouTube. There'll be a couple of videos. This is years ago. And I was blogging on Steemit. That's how I got started with crypto. And most people probably have no idea what Steemit is, but it's a social media cryptocurrency. And basically you can go there, you can blog, and you can earn this Steem crypto just for posting your posts. And people can, upvote you. It's very similar to Reddit in that way. Well, I really went all in on that. Like that was the crypto that I was like, I'm going to go all in on this. I'm going to build a following. And I actually became one of the most followed authors on steemit.com. I think there's still like 12 or 14,000 people that follow me over there, but I don't post on there anymore. The whole platform just kind of died off, to say the least. The CEO ended up giving the company away and just selling out. And it just, there's a whole story there, but we won't get into that. But that's how I got started with crypto. And I got burned really bad. I'm not going to lie. I went all in on Steem. And, it just went way high. And I was like, okay, I'm just in this for the long run. I'm going to diamond hands. I'm going to hodl this for a long time. And I had a strategy to earn passive income, and it was working. And then Steem went literally from $7 to 13 cents. And I was like, and then the CEO left, the whole thing just fell apart. And I was like, ouch. You know what I mean? That's no fun.
Big ouch.
And I ended up selling literally at the absolute bottom. That was me. And so I did take that money though, which brings us to today, and start reinvesting in other cryptocurrencies. And thankfully I did that. And from there, I went down this DeFi rabbit hole. And this happened, man, when was it? October, November of 2020. Because I was on social media and TikTok, actually. So I started doing TikTok. Right when TikTok kind of started really picking up steam. I have over 1 million followers on TikTok, which is pretty crazy.
Didn't know that.
A couple of TikTokers and influencers were talking about, the next bull run's about to start. And I didn't necessarily fully give up on crypto. I kind of knew that it was going to be big, but I kind of shifted my focus back to my business, right? It's like, all right, look, this Steem thing didn't work. The bear market is bare. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of money in the moment, which was a mistake, but we'll go back to that. I was like, all right, I got to find a way to continue to generate income. And thankfully I had my business and it was, continuing to keep going, but I'm like, I got to keep growing that and focus there. And so basically the halving happened, and there was the DeFi summer, and I kind of missed out on all of that stuff, but I caught it right before things really started to move. So I got right back in right at the right time. It was beautiful.
Nice.
And I went all in on it again. I literally, I have a lot of money into crypto right now. Probably too much, to be honest, but that's just how I am. I'm a very type of, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it, because that's where the results come from, right? You got to really commit to it. And so I committed, and I ended up taking $10,000 and turning it into $500,000 within a matter of minutes. I bought an altcoin that did that. I scouted it out. I did all of this, I was in the community, went in the Telegram rabbit hole. I followed this strategy and this formula, and it literally, man, it's crazy true story. I took 10 grand. As soon as the coin listed, I bought it as fast as I could. And then it pumped from 4,000 Tron all the way up to 100,000 Tron a token. If I would have timed the market perfectly, meaning I would have bought it and then sold it, I would have had over 20 million Tron, which today is, I don't know how much that is, but it's a lot. So
sounds like a lot.
yeah, I think it's close to $1 million. Yeah, at 10 cents. Well, at 10 cents, it's 2 million. So and right now it's at 7 cents. And Tron went to like 15 cents. So anyways, it was $10,000 at the time of when I did it to close to $500,000. I didn't time the peak. But I did end up cashing out a couple hundred grand. And from there now I've just continued to reinvest that money into crypto. And, you know, it's definitely fluctuated up and down. But we're sitting with a nice amount of crypto. And now I've been teaching people how to do the exact strategy that I've done. And that's where I'm at today. And it's really amazing. And what's brought me here with you is learning the technical side of cryptocurrency, because I'm not a technical investor. You know, when it comes to the charts and doing all that kind of stuff, I'm a fish out of water, man. I'm gonna be honest. I never learned it. It's a skill set that I'm looking to understand a little bit better. Where my strengths lie is in finding trends early. And one of those trends early was Hex. And the first time I bought Hex was after the big payday dip. And I had been watching it through other influencers and social media. And I didn't fully understand it because there was a lot of moving pieces. You had the staking aspect, you had the T-share aspect, then you had the crypto actually going up and down aspect. And then you have Richard Hart, who's just, you know, a whole character in himself that you need to understand. Right. And then there's so much game theory to it, and it's fun. And I love the challenge. And I think as an entrepreneur, we love that, right? We love the game. You know, I love the game, man. Whether it's 100%. Crypto, whether it's building a business, you know, helping people, online courses, writing a book, whatever it might be. I love the games. And because I love the games, I just fell in love with Hex. And as soon as it was down 70 or 80%, I remember Richard saying in one of the talks where he's like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen after, you know, this big payday thing. But in my mind, everyone kind of knew it was going to dump, right? Everyone got this free money. What are you going to do with it? You're going to sell it, man. You're going to take your profits. And so it went down a lot. And that's the first time I bought Hex. And my intuition, and looking at it now, is, you know, well, who knows what will happen with Hex in the future, but I bought it for fractions of a penny. My first intuition was, wow, it's down 80%, 70%. Buy it. You know, like I was like, buy the darn thing, you know, like this is the time to buy, is when it's in the red. You know, you buy the red, you sell the green. And I remember I bought it. I didn't full go all into it, but I bought a decent, you know, amount of money with it. And then it kept dipping, and I was like, oh gosh, you know, that's the worst feeling in the world. You know what I mean? When you buy something and then it just keeps going down. I dipped a little bit more. Right. And then I was like, all right, I'll buy a little bit more. Like, okay, you know, like I'm in this far, right? Like I might as well, you know, buy some more of it. Like if my theory is right about why I'm actually buying this, it's going to pay off. And so I kept buying it, and then I just kept buying it and buying it and buying it. And Hex is my number 2 holding right now after Polygon MATIC. And Polygon MATIC I bought at a penny.
They're both killing it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Polygon has done like 250x for me. Hex has done not 250x, but it's a lot. Between those two, those are my 2 biggest holdings, and I've diamond handed both of them, man. Honestly, that's why I wear the shirt. It says "Just HODL it," and this is what I wear in every single one of my videos, because I'm a big believer in that. Truly, I really truly am. And Richard tells us that all the time. He's like, who wins at the game of crypto? Founders and holders. That's it. And it's like, why go against the grain? Go look at the results of all of that. And so that's kind of my story, man. Would love to hear more about, you know, your story, and then sharing with us some more technicals today, because I think that there are people right now who maybe have heard that story and they're like, that's interesting, that's cool, but now what can I do? And that's what we want to hopefully, you know, help you guys, whoever's watching this, help you get involved with something that, you know, again, this isn't financial advice. This is just our personal stories and what we've done. But one of the things that I've learned about becoming successful and, you know, earning money, should I say, is just to model the successful people. You know what I mean? Like I'm your average Joe, man. Yeah, I'm bald. You know, I'm as average Joe as it can be. I came from a middle class, you know, white middle class family, man. Honestly, I'm as average as it gets. And what I've learned is, if you want extraordinary results, just go study the people that are getting those results and then just model them. Don't copy them word for word in what they're doing, right? Like that's, plagiaristic. You don't want to be doing that, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if Richard Hart has, hundreds of millions and potentially billions of dollars, we don't know how much he has, but he's got a lot of money. And he said, he's been here in crypto for 10 plus years, right? Like, hey, look, how you become successful at this is to be a diamond hander with the right cryptos, right? You don't want to diamond hand, bad cryptos, because then they will go to zero.
Your case, your story with Steam is like a perfect example of that.
Perfect example, yeah. Right? And what the funny thing is like Steam literally went back up to like $1.50, and like it probably will reach all-time highs again. And so it's like that just gives you the narrative of diamond hands, because it's like some of these old cryptos, man, if they got people still using them and doing things, anything can happen. And yeah, so let's go back to you, man. How did you get involved with all of this? What made you what inspired you to do YouTube? Because I think your channel is incredibly undervalued for the information that you're giving. The website is incredible. It's just, I mean, sincerely, I wouldn't be spending my time if I truly didn't see that. And I think our whole goal with this is to help as many people as possible and combine some inspiration, some story, and then also some technicals, and to really give them that. So I'm going to pass the mic
for sure
back over to you, my friend. Share with us a little bit more about how you got involved, and then we can jump into the charts.
Yeah, man. So I wanted to, first of all, touch on a few points you made, which I do want to bring up later in the stream, potentially. Like the fact that you studied history, you said, psychology, and government. I feel like each of those have some hook on markets, right? Because there's market psychology, and then there's looking at historically what's happened in previous markets to kind of see what might happen. So just seeing trends. Maybe that's why you're so good at seeing trends early. And then government, right? Like the whole powers that be and how that affects systems as a whole. So even though you might not be, like you said, too versed in technical analysis, you're attempting to learn about it, which I think is awesome. Like always learning, even though you're already super successful, and you've gotten this success without being versed, as you say, in technical analysis. So I think you're doing pretty well, to say the least. But yeah, just a little story on how I got into, what is it, cryptocurrency? Is that what you're kind of asking, or just in general,
crypto Hex? Because you primarily on your channel talk about that. But yeah, just your whole journey and where you're at today and what you'd like to do in the future, man.
Right. So, I mean, I started with the whole wanting to make money online back in 2019. So not too long ago. I liked working out a lot at the time, so I started making fitness videos. I got a little popular on Instagram, found a little hack to just grow organically really quickly, got to 10, 20,000 on there. I was pretty stoked. Was making some sales on some fitness stuff, created my own courses, was doing online coaching. It didn't blow up into the millions, right? I didn't make a 6-figure killing off of this, although I saw other guys doing it. So I was obviously inspired to like there's potential here. And like you were saying, model after the successful people. And when you're younger, you can try a bunch of things and one thing might not stick, but I think just the trying teaches you a lot in terms of I learned how to manage, a community and audience, how to be a value first kind of individual, and just kind of let things fall into place naturally, which in my opinion is a bigger success than if you were to, try to force things or kind of cheat your way to the top. It's really about helping people. Like you were saying, at the end of the day, that's really what we're here for. And how did I get into crypto, man? Well, I probably have to backtrack a little bit. So in 2017, obviously everyone heard about Bitcoin, huge bubble. I got a little bit. It wasn't too much. At I think I averaged in at 10K, and then I just watched it drop. And then I was like, okay, well maybe Ether's the move. So I knew nothing of trading at the time, and so I moved a little bit into Ethereum. Saw that I think at the peak I was up 5% or something, ridiculously low. And yeah, so I wasn't really versed in only invest what you're willing to lose, etc. Because I ended up having to sell into the bottom, kind of like you with Steam, which is, it sucks in retrospect. But hey, maybe we needed to get burned to learn how to do things right.
I'll stop you really quickly because of a funny little story here. So I ended up buying Steam before the big run up. for Bitcoin. Because I think that caught everyone's attention, $20,000 Bitcoin. I was actually buying Bitcoin. I think that the lowest I bought it at was like right under $1,000 a Bitcoin.
Nice.
And I remember,
this
is a funny story. I bought Bitcoin at, where was this at? It was in Chicago. It was at like a money exchange. I went to a money exchange with my phone, and I literally gave them cash, and then they like did the QR code and like all like it's like you go there to like pull out cash. It's like I was buying Bitcoin like back then. Like that's how I did it. And I bought Chainlink at 25 cents a Chainlink. I had over 7,000 Chainlink at 25 cents because I did diversify a very little bit. And I diversified when the bear market hit. Like in 2018, when it just like fell off a rock, I was like, okay, well, everything's down a lot. And I just did some research. I'm like, well, why don't I diversify a little bit? You know, like, why don't I try something a little bit different? Because Steam obviously isn't working right now. Like, why don't I try something a little different, adapt? And I bought a little Chainlink, 25 cents.
Still there? Kind of cut off a little bit.
When I got in 7,000. Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
There we go. Are we back?
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you got about 7,000 Chainlink
okay, so anyways,
25 cents.
Yeah, but then like, you know, a month or two later, I sold it, like wasn't patient, like just sold out of everything. I was just like, what am I doing? I don't know. And just like, yeah, like I had the right idea, but I just didn't stick with it, and I shifted back to my business. But go on, man. Like you're doing you're telling some good stuff here with how you got started, and I just wanted to share that moment because that was, man, to go back in time. That would be fun.
Right, and you it sounds like you were probably like up for a decent amount by a decent margin, and just kind of wrote it up and then back down, right?
100%. I mean, I think I had over 100 grand. Maybe it was even more than that for the Steam at some point.
Yeah.
I had 150,000 Steam at the peak of when I had Steam. So that today would be worth like 75 grand. Yeah. But like Steam went to $7. And that was my goal. I was like, I want to be a Steam millionaire. Like that's what I wanted. And so I was doing the math in my head. I'm like, all right, if Steam ever goes back to $10, all I need is 100,000 of these things. And like, you know, and then I was creating content, and that, you know, I kept in Steam. I didn't sell any of it. So, and for tax reasons and all that other fun jazz. But I'm like, I'm just gonna keep accumulating this stuff. And I had a strategy, and it was working beautifully. If I would have just kept at it, man, I would have been and still would be very successful with it. But that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I had a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, we both have had similar experiences with like kind of selling into losses, which, you know, it's just like I was saying, maybe it's part of the rite of passage to crypto. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm sure there are people who haven't gotten burned, but yeah. So that was 2017, and then kind of similar to you, where I was like, okay, this crypto stuff kind of just sucked for a bit because I lost some money. It wasn't a crazy amount, right? It was like 4 figures, so it was nothing crazy. But like at the time, it was a lot to me. But then I kind of transitioned into similar to you. It's like, you know, maybe I should focus on betting on myself, and that's what led into the whole kind of 2019 starting this whole fitness brand sort of thing, fitness personal brand, where I was like, okay, I'm going to invest in myself here because I'm in control of the output in that sense, versus something like a market, which depends on people buying and selling, hype, like you said, market psychology. And I thought at the time that betting on myself was the best idea, and so I started doing all that fitness stuff in 2019, like I told you, and then that kind of tapered off. It wasn't, like I said, when you're young, you try a bunch of different things, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, although I did have fun with it and learned a lot. And then into 2020, I think that's when I started watching Richard's videos. Just kind of like, okay, I'm still kind of interested in crypto. So I did keep in touch with certain creators. I wasn't investing at the time, but I guess I just wanted to see, you know, because I did believe that crypto could be something that could actually make a difference in the world and go somewhere. So that interest was still there. It never really died after 2017. Even after I lost money, it was still like, okay, there's something here. So I'm going to just in the background watch some videos here and there. Obviously, Richard's personality is super unique. So he was one of the creators I kept in my subs. And I just kind of watched him talk about his launch of Hex. It was called Bitcoin Hex at the time. Way worse name. I'm glad that changed. But yeah, I wasn't... I didn't have too much capital to put in at the start of Hex like what I would have liked to. right? I wasn't doing super well, but I did throw in kind of a little remaining crypto I had, and then just kind of averaged in when I started, right? So 2020 is actually when I started making a little more money with other things, such as I do graphic design. That's actually a main source of income. I do graphic design for a certain company. And as well as that, sometimes I do sales calls for a marketing agency. So these are kind of like, I like to build up multiple streams of income. Obviously, crypto is a third one, which is, these other two are like cash flow, right? Where I'm sure you're aware, like you have your cash flow and then you have your investments. And so the cash flow ever since 2020 up until present day has come from graphic design and sales, right? So that's when I actually started having capital to put into Hex. I started averaging in 2020, and yeah, I mean I'm sitting pretty, obviously, because Hex has had a nice run up. I don't think I bought the big payday dip, although I wish I would have. I think I had like $50 in one Ether account, and I was like, I'll just throw it in there. Well, what is that worth now? That's probably like over $1,000 now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, 2020, fresh cash flow sources, accumulating crypto, and now I decided, what? Let's just make videos, because I'm at the point where I can make videos without having kind of an agenda, like trying to sell people something. Rather, like, nothing wrong with it, obviously, but I'm kind of just making them for fun, and I find that that's a really organic way to build a community. And obviously, if there's a point in the future where I do want to monetize somehow, like actually might start putting ads on these videos for monetizing the channel, and that'll probably segue us nicely into what, how we met, which was that comment you left on my channel, that monetizing your channel, or I'll let you explain it actually a little, because you probably know more about growing YouTube and that comment you left. So yeah, just
for sure. So I don't claim to be like a YouTube expert per se, but I have some expertise in social media and just like building a business online, right? Like I've just been able to do it multiple times. I have over 1 million followers on TikTok. I started with 0. Everything's organic. Every view is organic. No fake, nothing, like, honestly. Same thing with Instagram. I've struggled a little bit with that, but there's like 7,000 or 8,000 followers over there.
Nice.
YouTube, all organic. Not a single fake sub, none of that stuff, except for like maybe I know that we've been getting some random like fake ones following us these days, and that just is what it is. But everything's organic over there. So, and I've been able to go from, 0 to 33,000. And to me, that's not even that much, to be honest, compared to what like other people are doing. But here's the thing, and I highly recommend you do monetize your channel, and I highly recommend anyone out there who understands how the social media game works, and just in general, you should have a product. You should be monetizing. Here's why. It's a win-win situation. And most people, they feel like, I don't want to take somebody's money. I don't want to be that guy shilling a course or shilling something. No. If you truly believe in the education that you're providing, people will be happy to pay you. And people will be happy to watch your content and watch an ad and click the skip button for 10 seconds, right? Because here's how these algorithms kind of work. And I learned this from Graham Stephan. I don't know if you know who Graham Stephan is.
Yeah, of course.
He's one of the biggest financial YouTubers. So
huge.
Funny enough, I was watching some of his videos, and Graham Stephan has a YouTube course. So I'm like, okay.
That's right.
He's got a YouTube course. Go buy the course, man. That's exactly what I did. And I bought the course. Okay. I studied the course. And in his course, one of the things that he says is his channel grew exponentially as soon as he started monetizing. And it's because of how YouTube pushes content out. YouTube wants content that has monetization on it, because that's how YouTube makes money. They give you money and they get money from advertisers. So they're not going to be organically pushing out content that isn't monetized. That's why it's so hard to get discovered randomly, organically, should I say, when you're not monetized, right? Because it takes you a while to actually get the 4,000 hours and the 1,000 subs and whatnot, because nobody knows who you are, and YouTube's not going to push your stuff because there's no incentive for them to do it. So if you actually just go in and you add in some of these mid rolls, and there's a whole strategy to do, and I'm happy to share that at some point, but that's like literally hours worth of stuff. The point is that when you start monetizing, if you do it the right way, it will be a win-win situation. And because more people will start to join your channel, it's like a loop that keeps looping on itself, right? And it should exponentially continue to help you grow. Another thing that you can do too, and what I've done is I've created an online course teaching people exactly how I've been able to earn the amount of money that I've earned with crypto, and how I actually find these new cryptocurrencies, where they're at, what I'm looking for, and being ahead of the curve, because that's how you get rich with crypto, right? You got to get in early, because if you're not early, look what happened if you bought Bitcoin at 40,000. You know what I mean? Like, it went to 60 and you would have been like, wow, I'm a genius. But now it's back down to like under 30. And so, but if you would have got into Bitcoin at $1, like, and just held on to it, that's the secret to this. You got to get into these new things early. And that's what I teach people. And for me, I want to grow a community that's willing to put some skin in the game, because the people that just want free stuff, those are the people that are just going to watch your YouTube channel, and they're never going to really get the greatest results anyway, potentially, because they're not willing to actually put some skin in the game. And so that's like my little entry ticket. It's a little skin in the game for them. And then in there, I have a VIP Telegram group where I answer questions, and it's like, okay, that's worth its weight in gold. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much value. It's overflowed with value. Then I also do teach people one-on-one, and I charge a lot for that. You know what I mean? And so you should monetize, though, and you should have an online course, and you should have these things, and you shouldn't feel ashamed, or you shouldn't feel bad about, oh man, I don't want to be that person doing that. No. Because when people, I heard this from an entrepreneur, man, it's genius. People who pay attention. Let me say that again for people in the back. People who pay attention. You know what I mean? If you're just watching this free content, you're probably, oh, I'm on my phone over here doing this. But no, if you put skin in the game, you're going to watch the videos. You're going to get in the group. You're going to commit to doing things, right? And if you pay more money, then you're going to really commit. And those are the people that I want to spend time with. And so you'll continue to, as you grow and develop your own business and what you're doing, you'll understand these paradigms better, and then it'll just make sense for you to monetize, and you won't feel that guilt, because I felt it too. Like on Udemy, man, my courses are like $10, and now I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna start making courses and charging more, and people paid it, and I was like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? You know what I mean? But it was a paradigm shift I had to go through, and so that's what I could say about that. And hopefully that's helpful to anybody that's out there thinking about starting their own business, and they're afraid, oh, what if people actually pay for something or this and that. If you truly believe in what you're doing and you can really provide value, charge more than you think that people are willing to pay. Because be honest with you, number one, people will pay it, and number two, they'll get more out of it. You're going to help them more if you charge them more, because they're going to pay attention more, and that's the truth of how that works. That's just what I find to be true, and hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, man, let's jump into the charts. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. And give some more people some more value on, we'll talk about Hex, and we'll talk more about our little secret cryptocurrency that maybe is not a secret to this community, but we'll talk some more about that here at the end of the video, or should I say the live stream, and then we can wrap it up.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, thank you for those tips. I'm sure anyone watching right now, including myself, like, that's gold, like you were saying. And I'm slightly familiar with the whole, like, if you pay attention. I mean, I have sold courses in the past, like I was telling you, with fitness. Even Instagram, when I started blowing up my page, I started selling a course on how to grow your Instagram, which people paid, like you said, and I charged more than I thought they were willing to pay for, and they did it. And even with this current brand I'm building with the Hex content, the crypto content, the website, like, I actually do have some charts which I've never shared publicly, which I thought to myself, I'm just going to keep these to myself. But now that you bring it up kind of in this framework, I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a paywall behind certain charts, certain one-on-one access. I've actually had someone comment like, hey, how much do you charge for consulting? And I was like, I don't do that. And one reason for that was I'm actually not too sure how that works in terms of, do you need to be a licensed financial advisor person to actually receive money to give that kind of, or do you have to word it differently? Like, this isn't financial consultations, this is just one-on-one time. Like, are there loops around it? Like, I'm gonna have to ask some of the stuff, maybe off stream, if you want to get it straight into the charts, but definitely curious.
I mean, look, while we're on the topic, I'll just let you know how I've done it, and I've never had any issues with it. You make them sign a disclosure, right? And in that form, right? We'll keep it simple for people. In the form, you write all the expectations, you have an attorney or somebody look over it, right, to make sure. I went through personal training for this, and that's a whole nother thing. Because I wanted to do it right, and yeah, you got to protect yourself, of course. So I have a LLC S corp, so that's how my business is set up. So that's something that you'd maybe have to look into. But again, it just will depend. There's too many factors that depends. But what you would do if any of you are interested in coaching or consulting or doing any of that, that's just what I've done personally, and that's kind of what I would recommend you take a look at, right? Like I can't tell you to go do that, right? Of course, but take a look like that, and yeah, that seems to be okay.
Good stuff, man. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. Let's go ahead and jump into these charts. I'm trying to figure out a way where, because now they can't see you, they can just see me on the charts. But here.
No, it's all good, man.
Okay, for sure. So yeah, just you want to look at the Hex chart, obviously, for a bit here. We'll pull up the V1, which shows the entire history. And we have V2 here, which is the higher liquidity, kind of more current data one. And so do you want to talk about long-term trends, short-term trends, kind of where you see it going, or do you want me to kind of take the mic on this one?
Yeah, this is all you. Show us I guess for people who are maybe looking to invest in this, right? Because maybe they've just seen us for the first time, right? They're like, who are these guys? Sure. This is cool, but I have no idea what this Hex thing is. Show me the results, right? If I were to be, yeah, that's perfect. If I was looking to invest in this, why this one? Why Hex? What are the charts showing us from a technical perspective? And then, the game theory thing is completely a whole beast of itself, and we can maybe discuss that after this. But, from a technical perspective, for me, why I jumped in is it kept going up. And that's exactly what Richard has. He's like, that's all people care about is if it goes up. So what can we anticipate? And again, nothing is guaranteed. So for anyone watching, please know that nothing what we say here is guaranteed. But from a technical perspective, this looks like a very nice uptrend from beginning to end, right? Yep. So why is this happening? What can we anticipate in the near future? The short term, the medium term, the long term, and then just explain, why you believe that. That's all.
Sure. Awesome. So as you said, most people, whether consciously aware of it or not, all they really care about in their investments is whether it goes up or down in the long term on their time frame when they're buying, willing to hold, and deciding to sell. And here you can clearly see that from January 5th, 2020, all the way to May 13th of this year. So what is that, like a year and 5 months? Hex has put in 119,407% returns, which oftentimes in crypto we have to talk in X's because these numbers are so huge. And this translates pretty much to 1,194x, meaning every dollar you had put in at, say, the bottom, which obviously not everyone's gonna get in at the very bottom, but there's literally here almost 1,200x worth of value you could have captured within less than 2 years. Meaning, like I said, every dollar you put in at the bottom would have been, what is it? I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Every dollar turned into almost $1,200, meaning $1,000 would have been $1 million at the top, right? So this is not uncommon in crypto, but over the past year and a half, this has been the highest performing asset from, if you count it starting from, let's say, the COVID dip, March 13th, 2020. There are a few cryptos who've put in bigger gains. I think the only real contender was Doge, and I did a whole video on that comparing the returns, and even against Doge, Hex is actually outperforming it right now given the recent price action on Doge, and that looks more like a bubble, whereas because it was just flat and then just explosion, versus something like this, like Hex, which is putting in consistent ROI and doesn't look like a bubble even on a log chart, right? It looks like blow off top and then correction, and the corrections seem to be getting kind of shallower. Like this one over here was just 60%, and then the most recent one was just around 55% or so. So you do get corrections. Obviously, you can see you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 to 8, depending on where you choose to plot them, major corrections. And so obviously none of this is financial advice. Very volatile markets. Timing is super important. And yeah, but this is one of the best charts in crypto, right? And I actually didn't even drag it to the top. So 1205x if you look at V1. So where could it go next, right? You can look at, I've done videos on this. For example, one of them I think is pretty valid is this kind of Elliott wave analysis where you have a pretty clear ABC correction over here and this is more of a flat ABC correction where you just simply have a 3-wave correction and the A and the C are pretty much forming a double bottom. And generally what comes after that is a five-part impulse wave where the third wave is generally not the shortest, oftentimes the longest, which is validated by this current formation and makes me think that we could see, another leg up for this current move up into like the 10-12 cent region. And how I get that price target is actually with, if you were to look at, for example, here, let's go to V2. If you were to look at, like if you call this a bull flag, the way you test the targets for bull flags, it's pretty simple. You just take a trend line from the bottom of the flag to the top. So this run up right here, and you place the exact same, you call it the flagpole, you place that at the point of breakout. So assuming the point of breakout and retest was over here, then you could be looking at, like I was saying earlier, almost a 10-cent hex. And yeah, I think it could go even farther beyond that because we've had technical targets in the past that have overshot by about 2x. Like this ascending triangle right here had a target of about 0.007, but it more than doubled that. This that you could call a bull flag right here, or which one was it? This one here, which looked like a bull flag to me. I was calling for a 3-cent technical target, but it overshot it by again around 2x. So I'm thinking if we just look at technical targets, sure, 10 cents, but if it overshoots like it has historically, we could be looking at like 20 cents. And this is a really illiquid market compared to other markets where you have like a total of approximately $10 million of liquidity. So if you wanted to cash out, say like 20, 30, up to $100 million, you probably couldn't without tanking the price. And that allows for it to move in higher multiples, right? Lower liquidity. And we can touch on that more a bit later. But yeah, 10 cents technical target, 20 cents if we take into account historical overshooting of technical targets. And even then, obviously, it can go way higher. That's what I see. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. It could go down, sideways, and everything in between. But that's what I see in the charts. And yeah, I'd love to hear your input on that. Let's go ahead and bring you back into the screen. You still there?
Yeah, no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I know. I'm just, my mind is like thinking so many different things. So I mean, look, the charts look beautiful, and that was the thing to me is like, I'm not a chart master, right? When you did the bull flag and all that other kind of stuff, to me, it makes sense, but like, I don't know how you're actually doing that and what the thought process is. So I'm still trying to learn. But as an investor, right? Because we're all investors, whether we're, know the technical side or, the game theory side, I think you got to be able to combine both of them. So here's the game theory side that I guess I'll talk to people about that really, really got to me. If you go to hex.com, they did a beautiful job redoing the website too, which is fantastic. They have 2 videos on the website. The 2 videos are absolutely amazing. I remember I saw the first video where it's like that old guy with the mustache, like talking. And it's like basically, it's really, yeah, I love it too. It captures the essence of Hex so perfectly because you got to understand what's the purpose of the cryptocurrency itself, Hex. It's designed for you to stake it, right? That means that you literally buy it and then you tell it how much time you want to come and get it later, right? So it's like, and that right there is what Richard talks about, why people are successful in crypto is because they hold on to it. Most traders get wrecked, right? And it's because the market is so volatile. Now, if you're a good trader, you can make a killing because of the volatility, right? But a lot of the times, these cryptocurrencies leave you behind. And so there's multiple times in Hex's history that's happened. And Richard is smart enough to go, all right, look, a lot of people are losing money in crypto, especially when they're new. We're both victims of it. Why? We did the exact opposite of what you should be doing,
Yeah.
which is buying low and selling high. We were, maybe we bought somewhere in the middle, but then we sold the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And so his whole theory of why he created Hex and designed it this way is to prevent people from shooting themselves in the foot. How do you do that? You stake it for a long period of time. And so that's the whole design, the game theory behind Hex. And so many people in Hex have done that and have played by those rules, and they won't see their Hex for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And so all that quote unquote Hex is still there, but you're never going to see it again for another 7 to 10 years potentially for some of these stakes. And there are people, and you can see on the charts, if you go to like go.hex or whatever some of those websites are, how many people have staked and how much Hex is staked for years. And if you were to try to cancel that, you get just completely destroyed with penalties, meaning you lose a lot of your principal, and then for the other of it, you lose your interest. So what's really important to understand with this cryptocurrency is how to use it. Because if you just buy it and it just sits in your wallet, then it's not really doing what it's designed to do for you, right? And then you might get, oh my gosh, it dropped 80%, I better sell it, and you make a mistake. And that's the mistake that Hex is trying to prevent you from doing. And so there's so many different ways that you can go about actually thinking about what to do with your Hex. But the point that I'm making is that most people make the mistake of selling the bottoms and buying the tops. And so what's really cool about this is for the first time, we have a cryptocurrency that will pay you to stake it longer, and it will pay you for staking more of it. That incentivizes you to actually behave that way. That's very important to understand because if you're not incentivized to do this, well, no one would do it, right? But you're seeing for the first time, people are staking millions of Hex for literally years and years and years. So that right there helps the price, as you've shown us on the chart, just do what it does, go up and to the right. Because what else can you do? There's all of that Hex is not gone, but it's kind of gone, right? So it makes it more scarce. And when you don't have a whole lot of liquidity to begin with, and now you have real scarcity because of how the cryptocurrency actually behaves, you have ridiculous price appreciation. And that's exactly what has happened. Is the best appreciating assets that we've seen in cryptocurrency in the last year. And that's because of a combination of all of these things. And if you're actually somebody watching this and you understand exactly what I'm telling you, that should, again, we don't know what will happen. The whole thing could crash. And there's certain aspects of Hex that, there's an origin address that holds half the Hex and all these different things that, like, all right, I understand that side of the coin. And that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother time. But my point is that it should, as an investor, if you understand what I just told you, give you confidence. And then also it should give you a sense of relief, because here's the thing, cryptocurrency in the last 2 weeks dropped by 60%. Bitcoin dropped by like 50%. And everyone and their mother is like, is this going to zero? Like everyone's stressed out, and that's the truth. But here, if you're in Hex, you're like, I'm not going to see my Hex for 10 years anyways, if I even make it that long. So there's nothing to stress about. And that, to me, it's like, it's such a beautiful part of investing that it's not a sexy part of investing though. Everyone wants to get rich tomorrow. They want to drive their Lamborghini around and flash it on Instagram. But it's like the real people who are actually doing that are the ones that have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago.
Right.
And Richard's one of those people who's actually done it. And so you see all these meme coins and Dogecoin and all that stuff. It's like, so, you got the one Dogecoin millionaire and you got 999,000 other of them that lost money with it. And to me, understanding this and understanding what I just explained and the technicals that you just explained, both of those things coming together, I mean, I literally, man, I just moved more money into Hex. And the reason why I haven't been buying Hex as of late is because I've gotten to a tipping point with the liquidity. If I were to buy more of it, I'm like slipping against myself because I have so much of it. I'm like, oh man, if I just keep buying this, like if I go to trade it back, if I were to cash everything I had out right now, I'd slip against myself a pretty decent number. And that to me, is like, all right, well, I don't necessarily want to slip against myself. It hurts. You know what I mean? When you slip 5, 10, 15, 20%, it's like, well, but that's the thing that makes the price go up. So I'm like, I'm just buying more of this, and then I'm just gonna take off some profits as they continue to go, And because I'm an all in, all out type of guy, right? So in my mind, I bought X amount of Hex, right? And then when it goes to, let's say, quote unquote, the famous dollar,
Right.
then I'll have X amount of dollars. So in my mind, I'm like, I bought the Hex, it gets to $1, sell. That's how much money I'll make. But it's in real game theory, it doesn't really work that way, because if you're 5 or 10% slippage, you're going to lose 5 or 10% if you were to sell right at that moment. Right. And so it's better to ladder it out. And that's what I think somebody mentioned in the beginning of the stream, was the fact that there's somebody with 200 million Hex that just keeps selling it. He's not going to sell 200 million Hex in one click. You know what I mean? Because you're going to slip against yourself, and you're literally going to lose a lot of money doing that. So you have to just ladder it out. And, well, I mean, eventually that person will be gone, and then people will stake it, and, you know, who knows what will happen. But my point is it's something to think about, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. But it's fun to share this. I just think that's really cool. And talk to me about like maybe some more game theory on your end that you've thought about that you'd like to share, and then we can get into
the secret,
you know, what is
altcoin?
The secret
10,000x altcoin incoming.
Yes, the next 10,000x altcoin, but for real.
Yeah. So no, I think a really big theme that has been brought up across multiple points you made was the idea of aligning incentives, and that's the whole, like you said, there have been examples of people who have made a lot of money in crypto. Oftentimes those examples are, like we mentioned, holders, because it's unlikely you're going to be a founder or an exchange, which are other participants that get rich in crypto. I guess with Uniswap V3 and Uniswap in general, being a liquidity provider, it kind of allows people to be the exchange. It's a little different. You can definitely make money with that. I've seen some crazy APYs just by being a liquidity provider. But for the most part, like the common person holding is probably like the best option for them to really make a killing in crypto. And the whole design of Hex is what makes crypto successful, and that was the thesis in building this crypto. So it's this nice, I don't know what you would call it, this nice I don't want to call it a feedback loop or circular logic, but it feeds into its own success, in my opinion. It makes sense in my brain. You know, the fact that it's designed, like you said, to stake it, and that more or less is incentivizing holding it, right? Because the incentive to hold is through just examples of people who've gotten really wealthy, but I don't know, I guess people just don't see that. And so you have to provide even more incentive via this whole interest mechanism, where it's like, okay, if you didn't see the clear truth that holders get rich by holding, well, then let's make it even clearer to you by giving you more coins and just making the incentive like blatantly clear. So I think that's a really nice aspect to it. And you brought up an elephant in the room, which was like the OA, who split its coins into daughter addresses, but if you add them up, I think it is about half the supply, if not more. We've seen audits done on these addresses. Some member of the community, I forget his name. I feel so bad not remembering his name, but he did an audit on these addresses and tallied up what he thinks is OA holdings, which it came out to be like 80 something percent. Because keep in mind, it gets half of the penalties on any given day from emergency unstaking. Like you were saying, there are penalties associated with unlocking early, which it's a good thing, right? Because, you mentioned you can see who's staked out by what amounts in when they're unstaking. That chart, I believe, is on hex.vision, and you can see your own, you can paste your own address and see your own chart on apphex.win/charts. These are community-made websites. But to preserve the integrity of that chart, that's why the emergency end staking mechanism exists with those penalties, where if you try to alter that chart, which you're basically telling people, this is the chart of future market supply. If you're going to change this based off what you said, then you have to incur some penalties. So all these incentives are aligned, and with the OA, like I was saying, they have the incentive the most to hold up the price up until liquidity becomes, like you were saying, you're a market maker at this point. You heard it here first, that you would incur some, insane slippage in either direction, whether you're buying or selling, with the amounts you're dealing with here. And so just imagine the OA, like they would absolutely tank the price to zero if they were to sell all their holdings, and then people would lose faith in the project. So like, why would you kill your own creation, kind of thing? It makes zero sense. And
no, exactly, and that's the biggest argument that people, if they are having any of this project, right? And they find out that, basically the owner or founder, we don't know, right? We don't know, but we can assume, right? I don't know, can you hear me still?
Oh, yeah. You chopped out, but you're back.
Okay, cool. We can assume, right? Somebody has a lot of the coins, but that somebody, right? Again, it's like Elon Musk with Tesla.
Great
it's
example.
like Jeff Bezos with Amazon. It's like they have billions of dollars in their stock, but are they going to just sell their entire stock? No, because it's going to crash the entire company. You know what I mean? So like, do you, if you're investing in Tesla, are you worried about Elon Musk dumping all of his stock all over? No, you're not worried about that. You know what I mean? And so the same thing is kind of going on here in my mind. It's like, look, somebody has a significant amount of this. And I think this is actually a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. Here's why. Number one, half the penalties go to this address. And we virtually know that this person or whatever is incentivized not to sell it. So it's basically more off the market, right? Like instantly off the market. Perfect. And then we know that this so person, good. It is so good. It's like, guys, what are you not seeing here? Like people be like, oh, they could just ruin the project and the price. It's like, yeah, but that can happen in any crypto. And in fact, it's actually more likely to happen in some of these other cryptos. Like Pancake Bunny just got, went to zero out of nowhere because they didn't have things right. I mean, everything about this project, double audited, 100% uptime. Like people don't understand this. This is important to know. 100% uptime. You're thinking like, what's the big deal? It's a massive deal.
It is.
It is the deal. Here's why. If your company or website or anything goes down for any amount of time, you instantly lose credibility instantaneously. I don't care what exchange or whatever it is. And this happens all the time. Even like Google goes down. You know what I mean? But it's like, you can't have that. From a user perspective, people expect it to be on 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's happened, not a single, and the thing too is like, you own your own hex. There's no middleman. It's like, right. What? It's so amazing. And like,
it is.
When Richard says this, and he's just like, hey, are you guys going to wake up to what I've done here? Like and I get what people are like, man, he sounds really arrogant, but it's like, if you actually understand what is here, he can actually, it's not arrogant at all. It's just the truth, and like people never want to hear the truth. They just want to, I don't know what people want these days, but it's like, if you actually wake up to this, and this is why I've invested in it, is because of like, I've seen the vision. I see him, you know what I mean? I'm like, I got you, man. You're trying to help people. Cool. Same with me. I've been building a business and doing personal development and helping people make money for years too. I feel you. You're an entrepreneur. I just resonate with him. You know what I mean? I get that. And I've never met him. I've never talked to him. And maybe someday that'll happen. But my point is like, if you're watching this video, and again, I'm hoping to provide value to the people watching this. If you're watching this and you're listening and you're really listening and you understand everything that we've said and you haven't jumped in yet, keep doing your research. But, the handwriting is on the wall. Like the chart is the handwriting on the wall. The 12,000% app, it's the handwriting's on the wall. The results are there. And when you get all these haters hating on it, that just affirms to me that it's an amazing investment. It's like, because here's the thing I learned about, and this will hopefully provide some value too. For anyone who wants to learn more about entrepreneurship, make money online, any of that kind of stuff. At first, when you start to put yourself out there, you get ignored. No one even knows who you are, right? You're just ignored. But if you actually are providing real value and you're doing something of good, that's when you attract the haters. And that's when you broke through. If you don't even have haters, then you're not even worth paying attention to.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, and to me, the Hex whole thing, the community, it's got a lot of, it gets a lot of hate. Oh, I love that.
Same.
That just affirms to me that like, oh, I'm in the right place. Like, if it's the right kind of hate, right? And to me, it's the jealous hate.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that because people are like, meh. It's like, yeah, dude, it just keeps going up. Are you going to join or are you going to keep staying broke? You know what I mean? It's like up to you, and it's like, it's fun to see. And I know that to me, it just gives Richard even more incentive, or whoever his OA address, right? Whoever's OA address, more incentive to just hold everything, because it's like I don't want to swear, but it's a big, hey, blank you to the system. And it's, when the results don't lie, that's what fuels me. It's like, when I was younger, man, I was never the popular kid. I was never somebody who was, very popular or any of that kind of stuff. I was very shy and introverted, and I still am. But I always knew deep down I had potential, a lot of massive potential,
right.
just kind of waiting to come out and break out of my shell. And I started doing it. And when you start to break out of your shell and you do that, you get a lot of hate because people are going to be like, well, who do you think you are to do this? Right.
Yeah.
And then you gotta develop your self-esteem to deal with that. Right. And if you go, nah, I don't care, I'm doing it anyways, let's roll. And then you get even more results. Then they go, then what do they do? They join you, man.
Right.
They buy your course. They buy your course and they're going, all right, look, this guy's so straight. He don't care. Well, I'm not going to try and beat him. I'm going to join him. And they buy your class. And that's how I've gotten literally hundreds of thousands of people in my courses, man. Because look, if you want to join us, you want to join this community, we're welcoming. Everyone's welcome over here. Come on in, And that's the cool thing about this community is like, I see so much good being done here and so much welcoming, just like Brand. He was just like, hey, I'm going to finish my stream. I'm going to send them over to you guys. Like, how cool is that? You don't have to do that.
Right.
But it's more awareness. It's more giving. And I think that's what, we kind of talked about. And I'll wrap this up because I'm rambling. Hopefully it's been helpful. But yeah, it's like when I saw your video about monetization, I'm like, I can help this person. Just a little insight. And then boom. And now like, dude, your channel is going to surpass mine at some point. It's going to happen. And like, I could get bitter and be jealous of that, or I can go, that's the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? And be happy for that person because it doesn't affect me in my life.
And that actually provides more, what is it? Not credibility, but like I could be a case study for you and your students. Like, yo, I literally just commented on this guy's video and gave him this one piece of advice and like his channel blew up. Like I'd be happy for you to use me as a case study if my channel were to blow up like that. And that's a nice segue into like, you made me think of a bunch of quotes while you were talking about haters, and there are a few I want to throw out there. You might have heard of a few of these. They're out there in the personal development world. Like haters substantiate you, and why is that? Why do they substantiate you? Because they're like one side. That's just one side of the coin, right? The other side is the intense love you're getting on one end. Because if you're passionate and intent on your message, you're going to create polarization of people who like highly agree and highly disagree. And some people are just going to be neutral, but that's what really allows you to find your tribe, in my opinion, and create your community. And like you were saying, this community is super cool. Like they're super, super helpful and giving and really don't expect anything in return. And I just think it's so cool. So haters substantiate you. Like you were saying, first they hate, then they like you, and then they buy your course, right? There's like these stages of their journey, of a hater's journey. And there was one more, which I don't think I can. Oh man, I had it. It was at the tip of my tongue. Yeah, I can't remember the last one, but yeah, it's all true. And yeah, man, like, I remember the last one. Sorry to cut you off. Or actually, go ahead, say what you're gonna say. My brain's
No, you got it. I don't want to ruin your train of thought now.
It's okay. It came back and then it left immediately.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say that. And save it. Make sure you don't forget it. Write it down. The reason why I think the Hex community in general is so positive, like overall, even when there's dips and stuff like this, because everyone's winning. Like winning solves so many problems. It's like when success breeds more success, and no matter where you got in this journey of Hex. If you were to just done what you were told to do and you just did what you're supposed to do, you're probably winning, and you're probably winning a lot. So then what does that do? It just breeds more and more of this interaction, people saying good things about it, positivity. It's like, that's ultimately what you want. Why do most projects fail? They fail because of FUD and because the project goes to zero and everybody goes, this is a scam, I'm out of here. That's why they fail. You know what I mean? But it's like, if the thing just keeps going up, and everyone just keeps winning, it's like, it's just gonna, like you said, validate itself, but it's just gonna be this snowball that just keeps playing out. It's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And that's, to me, why I'm so bullish on Hex. Even if it were to go down to 3 cents again, or even a penny, it's like, okay, it's just another opportunity. It's like, now unless if the whole market corrects and goes down to zero, that's one thing, right? And I think Hex will go with it. But yeah, hit us with that quote.
Oh right, it wasn't really a quote, or it was more so this phrase, this idea that if someone looks at what you're doing and you're winning, you're killing it, just to the point of like you said, you see my channel like surpassing yours, and you to be like cool with it. It reminded me of this quote that like if you see someone doing something awesome and you're jealous, the only thing there is whether you believe you can do it or not, right? That's the difference between being jealous and being inspired, is your belief in yourself. So that speaks a lot to the person, observing what you're doing. So you're obviously like very driven, very ambitious, have had huge success. So you see someone doing well and it inspires you because you believe in yourself, and that's clear. It's clear as day, right? And that really differentiates between, people who get jealous or get inspired. I just remembered that and thought it was really relevant here. But
No, it was really good, man. Yeah, beautifully said. It's just the truth. You know what I mean? People, if you're listening to this, it's like when you hear the truth, you know it.
mm-hmm.
I love that quote. When you hear the truth, you know it. Like you don't need to like think about it. It's like, that's truth. I just intuitively know. And a lot of people don't understand this, but the more that I'm 31 now, and I'm going on 32. I'm old, man, old.
So young.
And the older I get, man, the more that I really trust my intuitions. And I'm just like, what is my gut telling me? And, it's not necessarily it is your gut, because there's a lot of, what is it? Not neurons. I don't know. I'm bad at science. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on in your gut. Like this, whatever it is senses. I can't think of the word. But there's a lot of that happening. So when your gut's like, I should do something, you feel like you should go do it. And you trust that, typically that's going to be a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. And the more that I just trust my intuitions, and Hex was one of those intuitions. I knew as soon as I saw that chart, I'm like, buy it. Intuitively, I knew. I was like, this is the opportunity. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do it, do it. And then from there, I just kept buying more and more of it, because I was like, this is the answer. I just know this is it. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Maybe it's going to go up, maybe it's going to go down, but my intuition says this is right. Take the action and go. And sometimes you'll lose. You know what I mean? Sometimes it won't work out the way that you think it will. But if you start to trust your intuition more and more, you're going to be more and more successful. And I really trust it nowadays, like literally, because it's when you really understand what your intuition is. This goes into like meditation and even more woo-woo stuff, which is a whole nother talk. You really start to understand that, and you really understand yourself better. That's when the results start to come, and that's when it gets fun. But anyways, let's flip it back to the last little part here. Let's talk about this next 100,000 bajillion X altcoin that everyone is excited about. And I'll turn it back over to you. Just share with us a little bit more about what you know about it, why you're interested in it, and and then I'll maybe wrap up the end of this and share why I believe it could be the next 100x, 10,000x altcoin. So what is this next hidden gem for our viewers?
So lo and behold, obviously a lot of you guys in the chat now probably know exactly what we're talking about, but it's this incoming Ethereum hard fork, which will come with its own. We don't know all the details now, but we know it'll come with at least one of its own native tokens, potentially two. But those details are still kind of in the works, still in the design stage. But this is Pulse Chain, and it's going to be the name of this Ethereum hard fork. Pulse Chain is the name of the blockchain itself, sort of like Ethereum is the name of the blockchain. And one of the native tokens will be Pulse, right? Just Pulse, PLS, potentially as a ticker, just like Ether is the native token of Ethereum. So I think it's important to distinguish between the blockchain, like the substrate, the actual blockchain itself, versus what's built on top of it. Because obviously there are a bunch of coins built on top of Ethereum, such as ETH, and a bunch of coins will be copied over. It's an Ethereum hard fork. The difference between this fork and other forks of Ethereum is that it's being injected, is what they're calling it, with a full system state. So you'll pretty much have all your coins over there as well. Whatever your current wallet state looks like across wallets, across coins on Ethereum right now, you will have that on Pulse Chain as well. So if you own a 7,000 link, and I actually don't know is Steam an ERC20, but let's say you own. I know Link is. So if you own 7,000 Link, you're saying no, so it's probably not. Then you'll have.
No, so Steam is funny enough, man.
Has its own chain.
Steam is on its own blockchain.
Right.
So the Steam blockchain, and dude, this is how far ahead of the game I was. It's just not to toot my own horn, but Steam has free transactions and 3-second transactions.
Oh, so we'll
imagine that. Dude, I'm telling you, this was 2017. Ooh. That's how far of it. And look, they had NFTs. They had something called Steam Monsters. I was playing Steam Monsters NFTs 2018. And that game did millions of dollars. And it's like its own little niche. No one talks about it because it's the marketing and whatnot. But I'm telling you, still an amazing game. I was playing with NFTs and 3-second transactions and all this stuff and dApps and all this stuff on Steam. And so there is a real use and need for this. And that's keep going, though, because that'll segue into more of the Pulse chain and what it's designed to do and why we're even going in this direction.
Awesome. No, it's awesome. I didn't know that Steam had its own blockchain, 3-second blocks and all that, because Pulse chain will have 3-second blocks, so 4 times faster than Ethereum's 12-second blocks. And you brought up a good point, which is NFTs, that not only will your ERC20s be copied over onto Pulse chain, but your ERC 721s, I think, are NFTs, will be copied over as well. So all of your coins, your NFTs, you'll have Pulse chain versions of them. There's no guarantee that they'll hold value on this chain because it's going to be a completely separate chain with its own price discovery on all of these tokens, including the native token. And so it will be, as it's been stated, it'll be unprecedented value discovery over here because, as I was saying, other Ethereum clones, forks haven't had system state injected. I believe Binance Smart Chain, BSC, launched empty. I believe there have been more. I don't really keep up with them, but I believe most of them launch empty. And so that's what makes this Pulse chain so unique and unprecedented. And it also, here's some other fundamentals, some other bullish aspects of this chain is that it'll have 0% inflation and fee burning. So everyone's making a huge hype about Ethereum's fee burning coming, I think, in July, EIP 1559, which is just fee burning, right? And similar to how Richard kind of saw the writing on the wall and said, like, oh, ERC20s are generally really perform well. And so he made Hex an ERC20, and he beat ETH to market with the staking aspect of things. So now he's looking at, he's really good at spotting future trends. I think you and him would actually have a great talk. You might want to set something up. He likes to talk with people with over 10K subs, so I'm sure you'd easily make it into his stream. But he sees the writing on the wall, and he saw, oh, everyone's making a huge hype of fee burning, as well as there's one more aspect. It's 0% inflation, and just the fee burning I think is huge because he's beating. Well, assuming it comes out before July, he's trying to beat ETH to market yet again a second time, which is what he did with Hex. He doesn't really talk about this, but I kind of see that he, he has mentioned it, but you have to be kind of keen and watch a lot of his content to notice that a huge part of what he does is look at what everyone likes about Ethereum or other projects and just kind of beats them to market. And I think that's just super bullish with all these fundamentals because you immediately have incentive to use this chain because you already have all your tokens over there. So you kind of take care of some demand there. And even though he's not explicitly marketing this coin as designed to appreciate by 10,000x, just like, Hex was heavily marketed in that direction, which led a lot of people to kind of label it inappropriately, unfortunately. But he's taking kind of a different approach with Pulse Chain because it's completely unrelated. It's its own thing. And he's not going to market it so much as designed to appreciate. Although, given his track record, I'd assume that's a huge design intention. And it doesn't take too much to understand why, right? With the fee burning and the 0% inflation. Like, these are, like, the same reason why does Bitcoin have halvings, right? It's like, it's kind of obvious why these things are built in there if you take a look at them for more than like a minute. So those are some really bullish aspects to Pulse Chain.
I think.
Let me know.
I think the Pulse, it was perfect to get to people. And I personally have done a little bit of research on the Pulse. I think it's the Pulse token, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's what we're trying to get at here. Is like, look, there's going to be the Pulse chain is like the Ethereum blockchain, right? But it's its own thing now. And then on the Pulse chain, there's going to be this token called Pulse, right? PLS. And so that's the token that you have the opportunity to be getting very, very soon. And we can talk about the sacrifice phase here in a second because people are going to wonder, like, how do I buy this token, right? Because I teach people how to get into these pre-sales early because that's how you get in and that's how you make a lot of money. And if you would have gotten into Hex early, as you saw earlier, you would have turned $1,000 into more than $1 million, right? And so, again, we're not here to shill you a coin or to tell you what to buy or what to not. In fact, the complete opposite. We're here to just share the facts of what has happened, right? And what we can, what we think will happen. Okay, so this is not financial advice, and we're not telling you what to do. But with this new Pulse token, I think one of the mechanisms is staking. Now, it's not going to be like Hex, but I think one of the mechanisms will be staking, because that's just a really nice mechanic, right, to have into the new coin. I don't know if he's explained more about that or what other mechanics the Pulse token will have, but maybe we then can talk about it, and I'll let you take it away. So just describe maybe that a little bit more, and then how to actually get about buying this token and what's going to happen next.
So yeah, he's a smart guy, Richard, and he's modeling after something super successful, which is Ethereum. And a few people know how Ethereum actually launched. They had their own style of sacrifice phase. I don't know if they called it that, but if you look at the mechanics and kind of get rid of the layers of branding and nomenclature, it effectively was a sacrifice phase, or a pre-sale, as some people call it in the traditional world, right? And yeah, that's essentially what it is. So Ethereum had its own pre-sale sacrifice phase back in the day, where it was given value via this. It is really an arbitrary bonding curve, is what they call it. But essentially, you could have given up, I think it was for every Bitcoin, because they were only taking Bitcoin back in the Ethereum launch days. So you could sacrifice 1 Bitcoin, and at the beginning, I think for the first 10 days, you would be getting 2,000 Ether in return. So it was 1 Bitcoin would buy you 2,000 Ether, right? Because it's kind of like a pre-sale. You don't get it immediately. And then after the 10 days, I think it was the full launch phase was 42 days. So the first 10 days, 2,000 ETH per BTC, and the remaining 32 days were, it declined from 2,000 to 1,337. So 1,337 ETH per BTC. And if you do the math and see what Bitcoin's price was around that time, it was dropping from like $600 or so to around $500 or so. And so if you do the math, it turns out you could have gotten your Ether at like 30 to 50 cents per Ether. And everyone knows that it went to like 1,500, dropped to 100, went to 3,000, 4,000. And so you would have been up, 10,000x in a matter of years if you had gotten in on this pre-sale. And you would have been hard-pressed to find yourself in any region that you were down, because the lowest it went was 15 cents, and that was just on a wick on one day. And then it just kept going after that and never looked back to these pre-sale prices. And so you are, I guess, experienced in finding coins before they do these crazy runs and before they do their crazy 1,000, 10,000x. And yeah, that's going to be the pre-sale style mechanism. We haven't been given an exact date on when this sacrifice pre-sale phase will open, but once it does, you'll be able to sacrifice not only your BTC, but your Ether, your Hex. There's going to be a list of coins which are able to be sacrificed. Because back in the day, Bitcoin was really the only thing that you could sacrifice. So I think it's cool that he's adapting it to the times. Like, people own more than BTC now. And so it's like, well, why not tap into these other niches where they can sacrifice their value of their favorite coin and just get themselves some pulse.
Do you know? I think I figured out why he's doing it like this with multiple different coins. Now look, this is just a theory.
Yeah.
And I heard another YouTuber talk about this, and I won't mention their name, but it immediately set off a light bulb in my head. I went, that makes sense, and I think that's what's going to happen. Now again, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but what you said about pre-sales is really true. So imagine this, guys, because I talk about pre-sales on my channel all the time. And in my online course, I preach pre-sales, pre-sales, pre-sales. Get into these things if you can. Now, this is anyone can do this one. That's amazing. Some of them are restricted for different countries and all those other loopholes. This one, anyone can do it. You can sacrifice a list of different coins. We don't know what they're going to be, but that's how you participate. And like, it's an amazing opportunity, okay? So that in itself just speaks for itself. But why is he giving you an option to sacrifice all these different coins? Well, let's think about this. Pulse Chain, like you said, is going to be fully operational, right, when it opens. Well, what do you need in order for those new coins to have value, right? So let's say, because you're going to get a copy of all your, ERC20s in your wallet, over on the Pulse chain, 1-to-1 copy, which is amazing. It's the largest airdrop in history is what he's saying, and it really will be. And so you basically are getting quote unquote free money, but it's like, where does that come from? It's got to come from somewhere, right? And so how do you then take your Pulse ETH or Pulse Link or Pulse whatever that you got for free and trade it for something? You need liquidity. 100%. How do you get liquidity? You get liquidity from people giving you liquidity.
Right.
How do you get liquidity from people? They sacrifice it.
Right.
And then in turn, you give them this new token that will just trade on the open market. So I think personally, he's like, look, we're going to do a bunch of these coins, hopefully get as much liquidity as we can here. And that the sacrifice liquidity for the ERCs is going to be the pair you're going to trade against for your Pulse tokens.
Nice.
That makes the most sense to me.
It does.
I don't know if that, because I mean, think about that. It's like, look, if I give you, let's say, Ethereum, right? I sacrifice 1 ETH and I get Pulse in return. Well, where does that 1 Ethereum go? Right? Well, we don't really know. We have no idea where it's going to go. We can, again, in my mind, the thing that makes the most sense is it's going to be the liquidity now on the new Pulse chain, because then, you know, a bunch of people are going to get this free Pulse ETH. They're going to need to trade it against something. Well, there you go. Now you have it to trade against, and that's going to set your price, and away we go. Now, again, we don't know exactly if that's going to work or if we're going to be able to bridge over, not over. There's too many things that we don't know yet. We will be finding more about this out. And if you want to learn more about this, check the links in the descriptions below, and also go to the Telegram and the Twitter of Pulse Chain and jump in there and really continue to do your research. But I thought I would share that because to me, that makes a lot of sense. And it's like, wow, that's kind of fun that he's doing, or, you know, this is happening that way. We don't know exactly what will happen, but that makes the most sense to me. So what do you think?
I think you're spot on with that, and part of my brain had kind of grasped that, but when the way you mentioned it, it kind of solidified it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is a common way for new projects to bootstrap liquidity and bootstrap a market, is to do this pre-sale, get funding, and then use that as a liquidity, because otherwise there's no market, right? Someone has to create the market. And
exactly. So yeah. what you see for a lot of these new pre-sales is, like, for example, on Ethereum, right? Like whenever you know, if you go to a Polkastarter, they're all doing these new Polkadot projects, but they're all launching on Ethereum. Well, what do you have to trade in order to get these new Polkastarter, Polkadot projects? You got to trade Ethereum. And then right there, that's what they use as liquidity to start off. Then you could trade for the new token. And then once enough people throw in more Ethereum for the new token, well, there you go. Now you have your liquidity. And so it is a way, exactly like you said, in order for a project to raise some liquidity. Now, I'm sure there will be some liquidity that the project had to put in themselves, maybe. I don't know. It depends on each project, but it's a fundraising way to actually get your project off the ground. And that makes the most sense. That's exactly what Ethereum did this a little bit differently with Bitcoin. But I think one of the major trading, this makes sense now if you think about it. How could you trade Ethereum? What's the biggest pair to trade Ethereum with?
BTC.
Bitcoin. Exactly. That's all your liquidity. So why is there so much liquidity in BTC? Because Vitalik probably knew, well, why are people going to actually trade their precious BTC, you know, for Ethereum? Well, because in hopes one day they're going to trade their Ethereum back for more BTC. And that's genius. So anyways, we've given enough value on this stream for people who are listening. Like, if you're listening to this, it's like, my gosh, it's like we've just given you millions of dollars. But, you know, don't make us out to be saints just yet. We'll see what happens with this project. But in all seriousness, you know, I truly believe in what I'm teaching and what we're doing here and these projects. I believe in it. And the results don't lie. So anything else you had about this, man? I think we're kind of coming to an end here. But
yeah, just awesome. Yeah, I've loved the chat so far. Just a few points on some points you mentioned, like the bridge. There will be bridges, I believe. I think there will really just be one main bridge, which will be to, just in the same way you have your kind of like your wrapped tokens on Ethereum, like your wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum. I believe there's going to be one primary bridge that's going to be Ethereum to Pulse, and so you quote unquote wrap your Ethereum onto the Pulse chain. It'll be P ETH. And then from there, you can trade it for whatever you want on there. And I'm not super familiar with how wrapped tokens work. I believe it just locks the actual token to kind of peg a value to it. And that's what gives it value. It takes it off market and kind of just locks it until you want to trade it back. which I think is super cool. Again, I don't know too much about that, but that is going to be, I believe the primary bridge is going to be an ETH-PLS bridge. And then staking, like you mentioned earlier, is going to be something more along the lines of delegated proof of stake. Again, I'm not too familiar with that. All I know is the main difference between something like pulse staking and something like hex staking is hex staking, you designate a time, and again, we explain the whole truth engine, and you unstake when your time is due. But with something like pulse, and I even think Ethereum does it this way. I've never dabbled with staking Ether, but I think they do it this way where you just stake and unstake whenever, and it's just a matter of I forget, since there's not going to be inflation, how are you going to get your fees? I think it's just through, I think you're just going to get fees really. Yeah, I think you're just going to get fees, and then some of those are going to be burned. So it'll be a really interesting mechanic. But yeah, there will be some form of staking, some form of bridging, and obviously the market will probably be seeded by this kind of pre-sale mechanism that we just described. But yeah, I don't want to take too much of your time. It sounds like I kind of want to wrap this up. So.
Oh no, I mean I'm in no rush to wrap it up. We've been at this for like 2 hours now, and I know these, like, the hexagons are used to like 7-hour live streams, but honestly, man, like you bring up a good point. So how is Ethereum, like if you were to stake your ETH, you had to do so for like 2 years or something, I think, for ETH 2.0. And I didn't do this personally because I didn't want to. But I think in order to earn something, right, I think it comes from fees, right? It has to, because that's how you're taking your Ethereum, locking it up, and you're going to earn interest. The only way to earn interest then, I'm assuming if there's going to be the burning and the fees, how that's going to happen. So I'm assuming that's going to happen with, if you stake your pulse, you're basically holding up the network, right? Because you're taking it off the supply away, and that makes the price go up, which is what everybody wants. So in order for you to be doing that, you're going to be rewarded in a fee, and I'm assuming that fee is going to be people either trading or something. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. And I'll be the first to admit that I don't know exactly how that will work. But either way, I personally think, and I can't see the future, but I've been pretty right on a few different cryptocurrencies so far, and it's made me a decent amount of money. I see this Pulse token doing well for its investors. Now, again, it's not financial advice, and I'm not telling you to go buy it. But if you're watching this and you're looking for a hint, right? Do your own research. Obviously, continue to do whatever you want to do to make your own financial decisions, because ultimately you're responsible for that. This is a good one. This one looks good to me. If I were to be a betting man, and that being said, I will be investing personally into this. How or when or how much, I don't know yet. I still have to do my own research, but Hex has worked out beautifully. So, and one other thing too to think about, and this is why Hex I think has done so well recently, is you're going to be getting a direct copy of Hex onto the new Pulse chain, which is going to be called PHEX. And so that's going to be really interesting. And that's why so many people are buying Hex, because it's like, well, I was so lucky. I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm so lucky I had this Hex just staked for so long. I was like, I just get double of it, essentially. But that just incentivizes you to buy Hex now and any other ERC20, because you're virtually going to get double of it. If you're aware of this and watching this, and, congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to everyone that is doing that, and make sure to follow the both of us. And we say that not because we want more followers. I got enough of them. You know what I mean? Like, I got plenty. But I always want more. You know what I mean? It's kind of like health. I'm healthy, but I always want more health, better health. And so we want more followers. Why? Because we want to help you sincerely. So click the button, click the subscribe button, hit the bell, do all the things that you need to do so you don't miss out on this stuff, because these things can change your life. Cryptocurrency has changed my life. It truly has. And, I'm the type of person, and I feel like you are as well. We're not just talking the talk here. We like to talk the talk, but we're walking it. I'm invested in Hex. I have a substantial amount invested. And same with crypto in general. I'm not here saying, oh, this crypto thing is cool. Maybe these pre-sale things are cool. No, man, I made 200 grand. Okay. go watch my video course, and I'll just show you step by step how to get into these things and to do that. And I'm not trying to shield it. You know what I mean? If you want to join, great. You know what I mean? But the amount of money that you're going to pay to enroll in that is not changing my life. But if you want to learn, because that's the key, you got to learn. Be willing to make the investment in yourself. And I think that's really, really the important message, hopefully, that people are getting out of this is you have a choice in what to invest in with crypto. There's a million projects being launched, and
Yeah.
you know, make a. I don't think that again, this is a. I think this is a brilliant opportunity, and
Agreed.
that's then we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, I'll let you kind of take it away from here, man, and then wrap it up. And if you have any other questions for me or anything else, if you want to do another one of these chats, I'd be open to it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go for hours, but yeah, let's definitely wrap it up here soon. I guess some just kind of a random point I wanted to make that, man, it's escaping me now. Oh yeah, you were saying there's like a million projects launching, and just kind of close a thread that we opened up earlier about how it's hard. People don't really see the significance of something like 100% uptime and things like that with something like Hex, but the reason it's so huge, and I think people will start seeing it more so in the bear market, is just because it's something that doesn't fail on its users. And again, I think as like things are starting to go down and everything, I think people will start recognizing the importance of that amongst these millions of projects, like you mentioned, that are launching, and what makes certain ones more enticing than others. And I like how you're using this philosophy of like betting on the jockey, which is Richard Hart, right? The founder of something that's already crushed it. And so that's a common phrase used. I think it's in horse racing. I'm not sure, but bet on the jockey, yes. Right? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially saying like, yo, look what this guy has done. Why would you think he wouldn't create something equally as awesome, if not more awesome, now that he has feedback on how Hex has performed? Right? It's just so obvious to the people, probably on this stream. But yeah, if you want to stick around, that'd be awesome. I'd be happy to do another stream in the future, another video, maybe something more friendly to your channel and your format. I don't know if you're actually going to upload this on yours, but yeah, man, I do appreciate you coming on. And again, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'll happily, have you on again, or if you want to stick around, that's cool too. But yeah, thanks for providing so much value to our community.
Of course, we'll end the stream here, and then we'll chat a little bit after the stream, not too long, because yeah, it's getting a little bit later here by me. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been here and who's been through, all the way to the end here. Like, you guys get an A+ and a star, and hopefully we've been able to provide some value. And honestly, if you've enjoyed this content and you found that what I've said today to be of any sort of value, you follow me on the social media stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's free. Why wouldn't you? And if you really want to learn more, there's opportunities for you to do so. And I hope that you make those decisions for yourself. And if it's the right fit for you, go for it. And same here. There's a lot of really good, incredible value and a lot of good YouTube channels. But I've seen and I've watched a lot of technical analysis here. But you're one of the best, man. I sincerely mean that. So keep up the hard work. Keep making the videos every single day. And I'll be happy to jump on again very soon.
Thank you, man. Everyone go follow Joe. All 2,000 of you go follow him. Give him a nice spike in his subs count. And obviously follow me. At the end of the day, it's just really just staying connected. Like you were saying, it's not about having a bunch of followers, but it's really just about connecting with a bunch of people and spreading a good message that we think can help a lot of people. So thanks for tuning in. I know 2 hours plus or actually an hour 30, not too long, is not a small amount of time. Like, every person's time is super precious. So the fact that you're here, like, giving us the time, I think is really cool. And so yeah, definitely follow us, especially if you've gotten value from anything either of us have said. Yeah, we can chat in the off stream a bit. I did want to, however, respond to a bunch of this chat, which I've basically just been ignoring this whole time.
If they have any questions, I'm happy to ask. And if anybody has any questions for either of us, please.
For sure. Yeah, so YouTube Live does this thing where it kind of deletes comments as the stream gets long. So we don't have like the earliest comments. It's kind of unfortunate, but we do have some, I guess, the most recent ones up until the point
if anybody has a question, like, we should have thought about that. Let's do Q&A at the end. If you have a question, post it now. You know what I mean?
Boom. Now's the time. Drop your questions. But I'll go ahead and read the previous ones if there are questions. So let's see. Blowing my mind. Joe, just noticed your sweatshirt was a Nike logo of candlesticks. Awesome. I was going to ask. I'm glad someone brought that up. Do you personally sell those anywhere? Because I want one of those.
Okay, so my mom will really appreciate this. Yeah. So this Christmas, So I got back into crypto, but you know, I've always kind of been involved, but I really went hard at it again, October, November of 2020. So Christmas time came along, and I've been teaching people how to like earn money online and be their own boss and travel the world and do all that stuff. And so to me, this was another great way to like rebrand a little bit. I was kind of looking to do that anyway. And I told my ma for Christmas, I'm like, look, just I don't need anything from you. You know what I mean? But if you want to give me a Christmas gift, a hoodie or anything that has to do with crypto, right? Because I'm going to like rebrand myself a little bit here. I'm going to do this crypto thing. I'm going to start doing it on YouTube and go for it. So she found me this hoodie and it's on Amazon. She just bought me 3 more of them. I'll have to ask her for the link if anyone's curious, but just type this in. It's just HODL it. And yeah, it's a Nike logo with the candles. I get so many compliments from this hoodie. I wear it in all my videos, and I truly am hodling my cryptocurrency, right? It's funny. I made a video like 2 days ago how I sold some crypto because I did a little bit, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, get you a new hoodie, this and that." I'm like, guys, I'm like, guys, look, I did sell a little bit, and I sold it on Tuesday because I had a feeling we were going to go a little bit lower, and I was too exposed to the market. You know, fair enough. I've gone all in on this. You know, like all honesty. But if you want this hoodie, go to Amazon and just look for something that looks very similar. That's where my mom got it for Christmas. So they have a bunch of different colors and stuff. But yeah, I get a ton of compliments. And look, I'm an athlete, right? So I played college basketball. I played hockey when I was younger. So you know, I like to, you know, shoot the 3 every once in a while. So it just is very fitting for me. It just was perfect for me, and I really believe in it. And but yeah, if you're interested in getting that hoodie, Amazon was the place for it.
Nice. I'm surprised you don't have like an affiliate link or a kind of a store set up for that. I feel like it's just a great easy pitch for you to wear it in your videos and then like sell it.
You know, I haven't done the merch thing. You know, that's just not I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. But if I were to, this would be. I don't know if I could rebrand or redo the design, but it is so cool, man, because it's so, here's why people like this. It's very athletic, sporty, and it catches your attention. And if you know what this means, it's like you're a part of the club. You're like, that's cool. You know, you're like, it's a Nike symbol, but if you look a little harder, it's like, no, it's candlesticks. It's like, that's dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
It's like your own little secret club. And it's a way, and it's not flashy and like, you know, because some of those crypto things are like kind of annoying with the way that they brand it and they do it. This is very still mainstream, but also like inside. You know,
I like
it.
You
know.
It's a good bridge for sure. It's not like just a Bitcoin big ass logo on your shirt or
exactly.
I've never been too into those either. So yeah, it's really cool, man. Awesome. Yeah. Someone's asking, what will happen when no one makes an end stake anymore and everyone buys? Well, number go up, man. Let's read some more. I'm just gonna skip through like just phrases and really just kind of cherry pick the questions here because there's a bunch of comments. 5% ADA staking. I don't give a damn. That's funny. They spelled a damn with ADA. Damn, a lot of comments. How do we follow Dan? His name is not Dan. His name is Joe, you guys. Just looking for the question.
It's okay. It's so funny. I was on TikTok.
Yeah.
And one of these girls on TikTok follows me, and she actually works for TikTok. And I was just scrolling, looking for content, and I jumped into her live stream and I asked her a question. And she had like 15 people in there, and she saw my question, and she got like really stifled. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" She's like, "Josh, it's you." And I'm like, "No, my name." She was like, "Oh no, it was Joe." Then she was like so embarrassed. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just called you Josh." So it's all good, guys. I've been called Josh, Joseph, whatever you want to call me is fine. Dan now, so it's all good.
Here's a funny one. A member of the Hex community, he has a bunch of different accounts with different pseudonyms, different names, and one of them, his name was Brian. The other one, his name was like Brandon. So the whole live stream that we went on, I was calling him Brian, and he knows this that I'm talking about him. His actual name is Brandon, and I felt so bad afterwards. My camera just died, by the way, so it's probably a good time to get to questions and end this. But yeah, I feel you, man. It feels the worst to call someone by the wrong name.
But it's the perfect pose right there. The way the end the stream. I mean, that's like epic right there, you know?
Clickbait.
But no, we'll take like let's do one or two more questions real quick. Since
Yeah,
that just
let's
died.
just do the last ones. Let's see. Why are you losing your hex if you unstake after 30 days? Isn't this stealing? Well, no, because if you only unstake after 30 days, after you'd said, whoa, that you were gonna, you know, be staked longer, then aren't you stealing from the people who kind of saw the chart of future supply and then just got robbed of the truth of that chart? So the reason, I mean, you can stake for just 30 days if you want, right? And you don't lose any hex. If you you choose your staking length. So if you choose 30 days and unstake, then you don't get penalized. You get your interest. You get less interest because you only stake for 30 days, because longer always pays better. But that's just the mechanism. You choose, and if you truthfully act upon what you chose, you're good. If not, then you have to look into the actual formula that tells you how much you're going to be penalized. So just do what you say you're going to do is pretty much it.
And I love that so much because it's accountability. And 100%. How many people need more accountability these days? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, and you know, look, things can happen, right? Mm-hmm. Like life happens where you need money of some sort of maybe, and you know, you want to emergency unstake. But before you click that stake button, you better be sure you know what you're doing, you know, and it keeps you accountable. And if people do make mistakes, then yeah, the rest of the community who is accountable should be rewarded for that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so there's nothing here that in Hex that is designed to make you lose, right? It's not designed that way to punish you unjustly. It's very just. And 100%. That to me, again, is just, if you didn't understand or didn't read something correctly, it's okay. Mistakes happen, you know, like learn from it, get better at it, and then try again. Like that's, if you're not doing that anyways, then, you know, life is just going to pass you by, you know, like the biggest failures I've ever had have been the best successes. You know, they've helped me grow way more. And so Hex just, again, is teaching us way more lessons, deep lessons, and we can even go even deeper into those lessons than just simple buying and hopefully making money with cryptocurrency. And that to me is like, if you really see that vision, it's special. Hex is special. It really is. And he says it right on the website, and it couldn't be further from the truth. You know, it's very special crypto.
Yeah, man. I almost feel like thanking you for saying that, because it gets so much hate. So just anyone with, you know, any amount of, you know, you're a smart guy, you have success in the space and just a level of influence, that hearing something like that from you, it's like, I almost feel like I obviously didn't create Hex, but I almost feel like you're complimenting something that like a lot of us care about a lot, you know, and it's really cool that a smart guy like you sees the specialness of it. I love that.
And well, it takes somebody special to see that too. You know what I mean? Most people, they don't see it right away, and that's okay. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to show you the specialness, right? And you know, you're going to have to do your own research. Like, and I don't say that because, you know, I don't want to pass off the, you know, the work to you, right? But it's like, you know, you've really got to, you really have to do your own research so that you see the specialness, because the fact that I saw the specialness months ago is why I'm actually getting the rewards. And that's how I invest. If I don't see something's unique or special or can really provide value in some sort of way, I don't invest in it, you know? And to be fair, like I have a lot of different cryptocurrencies, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Hex isn't just the one that I have.
There we go.
Boom, there we go. You know, I have Ethereum. I have, you know, some Cardano. I have some Polkadot. I have a bunch of different cryptocurrencies because I do think that they all can be successful as well. And I think that that's important to know. But yeah, if we got one more question, that'd be great.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Yeah, we have a few questions here just saying, can we make this a regular thing with us? Can I share your link? For everyone asking for your link, because there's a bunch of questions asking for your link, I will throw that down there right as we end the stream. I'll throw in your Twitter, your YouTube, and are there any more links you want me to throw down there?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, guys, and I appreciate that if you do want to follow, just type in Joe Parys anywhere. JoeParys.com. It's Joe Parys on YouTube. It's Joe Parys on Steemit. It's literally, and you'll see my face there with the, it'll be that picture, but I got the laser eyes now.
I saw that.
With the laser eyes. So I jumped on that, and again, the reason I did that is because I have a bunch of people impersonating me. And, you know, I don't have that blue check mark next to my name. And I don't really care about that, to be honest. Like it's like more of an ego boost. But when people are impersonating me, it'd be helpful to have the blue check mark so people don't get scammed. And that is what that is. But I changed it to the laser eyes so that people know that that one's me. But the scammers will probably choose it and figure that out eventually. But yeah, it's just Joe Parys everywhere, guys, and you'll be able to you'll find me if you just do a Google search. And yeah, the links down below are great. But Twitter, Instagram is joe.parys. But again, you'll find me there. And then YouTube is Joe Parys. Again, you'll find the channel. And then TikTok is at Joe Parys. So, and nice. I post on social media almost every single day. But I appreciate the follows, obviously. But don't want to leave my friend out here as well. You should, he's the mastermind behind all the technicals, and that to me is very valuable. So,
hey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, well, I'll leave your links in the description below. And yeah, just one final thank you for coming on. It's not a small deal. I really do appreciate this. Obviously, because you have influence in the space. Not only that, but you have like great insight, very just humble, right? You don't have a big head about your success, and you genuinely want to help people. I can really feel that when I talk to people. And so, yeah, man, I really do appreciate you coming on. And I do hope we have a stream in the future. And thanks for answering questions too.
We'll definitely try to do something, like honestly, we're both busy people, but I think this has been a positive experience, and we'll definitely try to do it again in the future. When and how often, I can't make any promises, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I do travel a lot and I do a lot of stuff. So I don't want to commit to something because, then I really, there's too many dynamics that are happening in my life. I will say this, there's a very good probability that we will do another stream like this.
To be determined. Date to be determined.
Date to yes, yeah, exactly. But there's a high probability that we'll jump on again and do a live, and maybe next time too, I'll do it live on my channel as well, so we can get more awareness for everyone.
Nice. And maybe next time Pulse Chain is launched by then, we can let people know how to take advantage of the opportunity if they wish to do so. And yeah, man, enjoy your travels, travel safe, and thanks again for coming on.
All right, brother. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Joe.